What's good, IE Sports Radio fans? It's your boy, the SoCal Saint, live with another new edition of the IE Wrestling Show. I'm rolling solo today. Unfortunately, my tag team partner, the Crescent City Savage himself, T5, could not join us today, but he sends his love and appreciation to all you guys out there who always watch our show religiously, which we are very appreciative of. Thank you. Hit that like, share, subscribe button on the bottom. Thank you guys for tuning in to another new edition of the premier professional wrestling podcast right here on IE Sports Radio. It is the IE Wrestling Show, your direct feed for all that is pro wrestling, on the only network that is your direct feed for all that is sports, IE Sports Radio. I am your host for today, SoCal Saint. And I am here, like I said, rolling solo dolo. Again, I said my tag team partner, T5, the Crescent City Savage himself, could not be in attendance today. He sends his love and support, though. Hopefully you guys show him some love. Go to his socials. Please follow T5 at his socials. His personal page is Who Is T Fizzle. That's at Who Is T Fizzle on X. And please check out his official show page for his other show that he has right here on IE Sports Radio. Every Saturday morning at high noon, 12 p.m. Central Standard Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is the Crescent City Connection, where he talks everything Louisiana sports, from the Saints to the LSU Tigers to the New Orleans Pelicans and more. Check him out every Saturday at high noon for the Crescent City Connection. Follow his official show page at Crescent City_IE. And please do me a favor and follow me, yours truly, the host, one of the hosts of the IE Wrestling Show. I run the main page for IE Wrestling Show. That's on X at IE Wrestling Show and on Blue Sky. I'm also on Blue Sky, so please check it out. I would promote the TikTok page, but I know TikTok's probably going to be, persona non grata in just a few days. So, if you followed me on there, I appreciated it. I got some views. I never, had like a huge following on there, but the views and follows that I did have, I was always appreciative of. So I really thank y'all for that. I feel like it did bring some new eyes to the show and the program. So it's always been awesome to see. But yeah, so please, I will still have these socials here for the show on X and on Blue Sky. So please follow me there at IE Wrestling Show on Blue Sky and on X. And please do yourself a favor and give some props to our official sponsors that keep the lights on here for IE Sports Radio. Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. This jerky is on a whole other planet. Ooh, yeah. Check them out. They have an official Instagram page at Planet Jerky on Instagram. And do yourself a favor and order directly from their website at planetjerky.net. That's planetjerky.net. You will not regret it. I promise you. Me and T5 have spoken about it. He's even done a taste test live right here on the IE Wrestling Show. We stand by our statements. It is awesome. It is very, very delicious. Awesome premium brisket beef jerky. The volcanic jalapeno, I've said many times, is my favorite flavor. Check them out. It's affordable. They're delicious. It's low in sugar, high in protein. Very delicious. You will definitely love it. If you're an avid beef jerky fan, you'll definitely appreciate Planet Jerky's premium brisket beef jerky. Order yourself a bag or two, okay? And if you need something to give you that nice little je ne sais quoi for, like, if you have you got a big party coming up, you have a child's birthday coming up, you have the holidays just passed, but if you need it for the next holidays, if you got like an Easter family gathering coming up that you're trying to invite some family and friends over, Christmas, this would have been great for like those yearly Christmas cards that you send out to your friends and family of you and your family. Go to Seal the Deal Wax Seals. It is the brainchild of Miss Zai Sports Radio, the beautiful wife of the head honcho Larry B, Cecilia B. It is her pet project here. Go to the official Instagram page at sealthedeal_wax seals and check it out. You can order directly from our official website at iesportsradio.com/sealthedeal wax seals. And again, we have another new sponsor. IE Sports Radio has proudly partnered with Vital Apparel, a brand that not only fits great, but also promotes and donates to mental health research. Use our code IESR to get 15% off of their comfortable and inspiring gym wear and help them on their amazing journey to support mental health. It is a great they have really awesome products there. They have really great clothing options there. They have hats. They have gym wear like shirts, workout pants and shorts, things like that, and very affordable. And you can take a little bit more off the top with that promo code IESR at checkout. So check them out, guys. Go to viralapparel.com for that. Okay. Man, we got a lot to talk about today. I know I was hoping to have some, to bounce some stuff off of T5, but it's all good. T5, like I said, he couldn't be here. So, no worries there. We'll do the damn thing like we used to do it solo dolo before T5 jumped on board with me. Let's get into some wrestling news real quick. Well, you know what? Before we do that, let's hear from the official sponsors. Let's go to a quick little short commercial break. We'll be right back with some wrestling news. The SoCal Saint, will be right here for y'all when you return, and we'll get into some wrestling news. It's going to be fun, guys. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back in just a moment. Stay tuned.
IE Sports Radio fans, this show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, Single A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Hey there, IE Sports Radio fans. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or a friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can find them on Instagram at sealthedeal_wax stamps and on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals.
Rise and shine. It's 4 a.m. The stars are still out. The sun is beneath the horizon, but it's time to punch in and go to work. The comfort of your warm-ups turns into the grinding out of your reps as the clinking and the clinking of the plates create a symphony of euphoria. There's no other feeling like it. Earn it, burn it, and take what's yours. IE Sports Radio has proudly partnered with Vital Apparel, a brand that not only fits great, but also promotes and donates to mental health research. Use our code IESR to get 15% off their comfortable and inspiring gym wear and help them on their amazing journey to support mental health. Go hard, take part in your iron therapy, and be strong. Because when your mental health is as strong as you are, there's no telling how far you'll go. For the last 10 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iesportsradio.com. At iesportsradio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the iSports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeves, hoodies, and more. For now over a decade here at IE Sports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and we thank you all for your support and for making IE Sports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
Yo, welcome back, IE Sports Radio fans. It's your boy, the SoCal Saint, still right here. We gave a little love to our, our official sponsors that keep the lights on, keep us doing what we're doing for y'all every single week. So check them out. Please go to our website, iesportsradio.com. Check out my show page at the IE Wrestling Show. You can check out past episodes, present episodes, get a little bio about me and T5. And check out our merch shop. If you are a fan of IE Sports Radio, want to throw some shekels our way, check out our merch shop. You can get an awesome IE Sports Radio t-shirt. We got tank tops for the ladies and shirts for the ladies as well. Hopefully we'll have some hoodies and hats here soon. That's what I've been told. So be on the lookout for that. As soon as I know, I will let y'all know live right here on the IE Wrestling Show. Let's get into it, man. We got some wrestling news. I got actually a lot of wrestling news to go over. Let's see here. We got some conflicting reports here for former TNA star, former X Division champion, Speedball Mike Bailey. I have seen two conflicting reports. I've seen one report from PW Insider stating that Mike Bailey, Speedball Mike Bailey, is headed to NXT. Take that with a grain of salt. And then I heard another story that MLW, Major League Wrestling, has reportedly signed Mike Bailey to a contract, and he will be debuting on their television program, MLW Fusion, in the coming weeks. So I really don't know. I haven't had any confirmation of either one, but those are the two stories that I've seen making the rounds online. Just be on the lookout. Once I find out, once I know what's going on, y'all will know right here on IE Wrestling Show where this really talented wrestler will land. I mean, I could see him in NXT. I don't want to say MLW would be a downgrade for him, but MLW is doing some decent business lately. I know their new MLW world champion is former WWE superstar, the original Bro, Matt Riddle. He just won the title this past weekend right here in my backyard in Haltom City, Texas. Or I think it was Northridge and Hills, one of those. I mean, they're really close together. He won it at their MLW pay-per-view, their Coliseum. I think that was the name of the show, MLW Coliseum, something like that. Road to the Coliseum, or I forgot what the name of the pay-per-view was. Unfortunately, I do apologize, but they had a big event this past weekend, this past Saturday night. Apparently, it was a sellout show. Good for them. Good for MLW. Wrestling right now is doing well on all levels, honestly. Unless you're AEW. Well, anyway, let's move on here. Speaking of AEW, it has been made official, even though they've been holding championships in the company for the last, 6 months or something like that, unless I'm out of the loop and they've lost the titles. but I thought that they were still the Ring of Honor 6-man tag team champions along with Dustin Rhodes. But it is what was made official on their podcast, the Claw Pod. The Von Erichs have officially signed with AEW / Ring of Honor. On the inaugural episode of the Claw Pod, Ross and Marshall Von Erich, the sons of the lone surviving member of the Von Erich clan, Kevin Von Erich, the master of the Von Erich Claw. That's right. Big Texas wrestling legend, big legendary wrestling family here in the DFW area. Of course, the Von Erichs, very famous. David, Kerry, Mike, Kevin, Chris, the Von Erichs, their father Fritz. Very, very famous wrestling family out of Denton County here in Texas. They've done a lot of they used to come here to Fort Worth a lot, wrestle in the Will Rogers Auditorium, wrestled in Dallas, of course, the famous Dallas Sportatorium. Very, very, very huge legacy here in the DFW area for the Von Erich clan. But they made official. The sons of Kevin Von Erich, Ross and Marshall Von Erich, have officially signed with AEW. Marshall was the one who broke the news, said, "I can't wait to share this amazing news with everybody. There's a lot of people that don't know, but this was a journey. This is great. The Von Erichs deserve this more than anyone. I expect them to be champions before or at All In Texas." So with them signed, I'm with the AEW, and I know AEW's got that big Texas stadium show at Texas Rangers Stadium in Arlington coming up this summer. Hopefully, if Tony Khan is smart, he will book them in a big, high-profile match and feud with high-profile wrestlers that are on the AEW roster to get some butts in those seats, because I know those tickets have been moving slow. They have not been moving well at all. From when I keep checking, it's been a slow and steady pace for those ticket sales for All In. So with the Von Erichs, that name Von Erich still means something here in the state of Texas, especially in this part of Texas. So especially if Kevin will be there with his boys, that'll definitely get some tickets moving for the old school fans that want to come see Kevin Von Erich and his boys, Marshall and Ross, do what the Von Erichs always do best, fight evil with their good old boy status. You know what I mean? So I'm happy for them. Hopefully AEW and Tony Khan do right by them. I say that, because Tony Khan hasn't really been doing right by a lot of people lately, but hopefully he'll do right by the Von Erich boys. If you're a fan of anime and a fan of wrestling, like a lot of my friends are, WWE star, former WWE SmackDown and Raw Women's Champion Alexa Bliss, who has been missing from WWE TV for quite some time when she became a mommy. She had her first child a while back now. I think it's been almost like 2 years now, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Alexa Bliss has lent her voice to the English dub of Netflix anime series Sakamoto Days, voicing the character Abuguro? I think I'm saying that right. Oh, God, I probably butchered that. I do apologize, but awesome. That's cool. I know she's a big anime fan. A lot of these newer age WWE superstars are anime fans, such as Xavier Woods of New Day, Kofi Kingston of New Day. I'm trying to think who. There's a lot of I've seen a lot of the girls and guys as wrestling and anime fans. So that's cool to see that Alexa Bliss, got to do some voiceover work for an anime that's on Netflix. Just more WWE Netflix correlation, because it's been quite successful the last 2 weeks. Netflix, of course, I'm sure is very, very happy with the numbers that WWE is pulling. WWE was number one last week over Squid Game. They're number one this week over that new show that premiered this week. I think is called American Primeval. I think is the name of the show. It's like a Western-y type of era show. Excuse me. And yeah, so WWE for the second week in a row, Netflix number one show for the week after it aired live this past Monday on with the second episode of the Netflix era. Of course, I've said it here, and I'm going to say it again. Next week on Martin Luther King Jr. Day, January 20th, myself and my father, Papa SoCal Saint, will be in attendance live in Dallas, Texas, for the third episode of the Netflix era Monday Night Raw, live from the American Airlines Arena in Dallas, Texas. I cannot freaking wait. Already announced for that show as of this past Monday night on Raw. The New Day will be back in action. Don't know who they're going to be wrestling against. That's all they've announced, is that the New Day will finally be competing in a tag team match since their huge heel turn against their brother Big E, which has definitely turned the corner for the careers of Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods. I would say for the better. They've been more interesting in the last couple months than they have been all like the last 2.5 years. So I can't wait to see what's going down on Monday. Also, WWE Hall of Famer JBL, John Bradshaw Layfield, will be in attendance on Monday Night Raw on Netflix in Dallas. And the main event, if it's not the main event, I'd be shocked. But the main event for next week's episode of Monday Night Raw will be Seth freaking Rollins going one-on-one with the Scottish Warrior, Drew McIntyre. Oh, that was a terrible Scott. That was my terrible attempt at a Scottish accent. I'm sorry. But yes, we get a WrestleMania rematch from last year's WrestleMania 40 Day 2 or Night 2, WrestleMania Sunday. It was the opening match on WrestleMania Sunday where Drew McIntyre defeated Seth Rollins to become the World Heavyweight Champion for all of 5 minutes before Damian Priest cashed in and won the title from Drew McIntyre. So we get a WrestleMania rematch for the main event in Dallas. I'm excited. Seth freaking Rollins versus Drew McIntyre. You know, that's going to be let me quote Sheamus here, a banger. I can't wait to see that. That's me and my dad are going to have so much fun in that live crowd. We got the perfect seats. We're going to be right there facing the entrance ramp and the ring. I'm fucking set. I am so excited. So a little tidbit here. This is funny. So a little trivia here, I guess, or a fun fact, if you call it. 1993, the premiere episode of WWE's Monday Night Raw on the USA Network. The opening contest, the very first match ever, the very first ever Raw match that took place was Coco Beware versus former WWE champion Yokozuna. That is Yokozuna, of course. He is a member of the Anoa'i family. He's a part of the bloodline, y'all. Rodney Anoa'i, a.k.a. Yokozuna, was in the very first match ever for Monday Night Raw on the USA Network. And the very first match of the Netflix era of WWE's Monday Night Raw was, of course, Roman Reigns versus Solo Sikoa in Tribal Combat on the very first episode of WWE Raw on Netflix. So members of the Anoa'i family involved in both historic events of WWE's flagship program back all the way in 1993 on the USA Network, and then right here 2025 on Netflix. That's the Anoa'i family, man. That has probably got to be one of, if not the most successful wrestling clan ever. You got a lot of legendary wrestling families. You got the Guerreros, you got the Von Erichs, you got the Grahams, you have you got the Andersons, you got the Malenkos, you got the Savages or Poffos. I know Macho Man had changed his name to Savage, but he is a part of the Poffo clan with his brother Lanny and his father. Oh my God, what was his father's name? I can't think of it right now. I do apologize. But yeah, and then you got the Anoa'i family. So many huge superstars have come from that Anoa'i family. The Rock, Yokozuna, Rikishi, Samu, Roman Reigns, the Usos, Jimmy and Jay, Solo Sikoa, Lance Anoa'i, Tama Tonga, and Tongaloa adjacent, because they're not blood related, but they're considered part of the family, just like Haku, their father. You got Jacob Fatu. He's a part of the clan as well. He is blood related to the Anoa'i family. So, it's the High Chief Peter Maivia, of course, another adjacent member. The Rock's father, Rocky Johnson, Soul Man Rocky Johnson. It's a lot of legendary names coming out of that Anoa'i clan for sure. And a lot of historic moments have come from there as well. So more AEW news. Apparently, if you caught AEW's Collision this past Saturday night, it's pretty much well known, or at least through the internet and just the way that things went down on the program, that Malachi Black has been written out of the show. He's gone. He's done with AEW, apparently. He's not re-signing with the company. He is set to become a free agent and is expected to return to the WWE, which seems like a no-brainer. His wife, Zelina Vega, in real life, that is his wife. Zelina Vega, of course, the valet and wrestler, a part of the LWO. She is still a part of the WWE. So to see that Malachi Black could be on his way back to the WWE as Aleister Black, most likely. That's really exciting to see. I loved Aleister Black when he had his NXT run, when Triple H was still running the black and gold brand, and he would come up like he had that plank or something that would like push him up, and he had his hands up like this, and he'd come up slow like that with his entrance. He has such a badass entrance, badass theme song. His whole aura in NXT, if we could just book him just like that on the main roster, maybe a little bit of a twinge, bring it in some of the stuff that he did in AEW with the House of Black to the WWE. I'm not saying copy that, but I mean, just, bring this amalgamation together. I think Aleister Black could have a successful run with under the Triple H regime in WWE. So it was I was very excited to hear that. So apparently Black will officially become a free agent somewhere within February or March, and has wrapped up his time with AEW and is not expected to appear again. In addition, it was noted that plans for Black's return have already been discussed within WWE, and they are ready to welcome him back with open arms. This is, of course, from the source of F4W Online. They've been pretty accurate with a lot of news reports that have come out, and I do believe we will see the return of Aleister Black at some point in the WWE here in the very, very near future. I don't know how long of a non-compete clause he has, if there is any in place. We may very well see him in the Royal Rumble, which would be fucking crazy. That the crowd would pop in Indianapolis if Aleister Black was one of the entrants in the Royal Rumble. So, I mean, fingers crossed. That would be so dope to see that. I'd be really excited to see that. Here we go. Let's see here. This is fun. I haven't watched this video yet, but I plan to watch it probably after I get off the show here. But Watch Mojo. Any Watch Mojo fans out there? Anybody subscribe to the Watch Mojo channel on YouTube? Watch any of their awesome top 10s, top 20, top 30 countdowns? I've been a fan of Watch Mojo for years now. And Watch Mojo actually put together in accordance in celebration of WWE's move from the USA Network to Netflix with Monday Night Raw. They made a countdown, top 10 greatest moments in WWE Raw history. And I have to agree with a lot of these. I don't know if I agree with every single one, but I definitely agree with number 3 and number 1 spot. So just bear with me. So anybody in the chat room, if you have any great Raw moments that you want to talk about that you believe aren't in this list, hit me up. Hit up the comments. We'll talk about it right now. If you've got some other Raw moments that should have been on the card or should have been on this countdown that you thought got left out, if you agree with it, let me know. Coming in at number 10, the first ever episode in 1993. So the number 10 spot went to the very first episode of Monday Night Raw, which, yeah, in itself, that is one of the best moments in WWE Raw history, being the fact that it is the very first episode of Monday Night Raw that started it off. Everything that started off kicks off from this very moment in 1993. How could you not pick this episode? So yeah, or pick that as the number 10. Without it, we wouldn't have any other moments in Raw history to even talk about. So yes, the very first episode in 1993 had to be at the 10 spot. I agree with that. Number 9, Eric Bischoff debuts as the general manager of Monday Night Raw in 2002. That was definitely a shocking moment, especially with the recent death of both ECW and WCW. Eric Bischoff just covered in those WCW colors. He tried to put WWE out of business. WWE was defeated by WCW over 83 weeks in a row. Of course, we talked about this numerous times in different documentaries, on podcasts, whatever you call it. Eric Bischoff came very, very close to putting Vince McMahon and the WWE out of business. And so, yeah, that was very shocking for the time, even though, we hadn't seen Eric Bischoff on any sort of wrestling program since WCW's dying days. So to see Eric Bischoff pop up in a WWE environment on Monday Night Raw, the very same show he used to give away the results of every single Monday night on Monday Night Nitro, embrace Vince McMahon like if they're good old buddies, and now he's the guy that's kayfabe, on television, that's running the program, running Monday Night Raw. That was very shocking. I'd have to agree with that choice at number 9. Number 8, Seth Rollins turns on the Shield. That was, I'd say that's a pretty big moment. I mean, that definitely set in motion a series of events that we were still feeling up until the main event of WrestleMania Sunday last year, when Seth Rollins took that steel chair and hit Roman Reigns in the back with the chair, and then Dean Ambrose, aka Jon Moxley, with the chair, turning on the Shield, joining the Authority, joining Randy Orton, joining Triple H, turning his back on his Shield brothers because he wanted to be selfish and become a huge star. Like he was the prodigal son, he was the one that was going to be the next big thing, quote unquote, and without that happening, and the Shield was like on a crazy run at that time. They were like unstoppable. They were having these banger ass matches with the Wyatt family, and then they had this crazy short feud with Evolution, Batista, Randy Orton, and Triple H at the last two pay-per-views, put on two great 6-man tag team matches, and then this happened. Then Seth Rollins just stuck a dagger in the back of both Moxley and Reigns, and things have never been the same since. All three of these men went on to become multiple-time champions. They've all held tag team titles. They've all held the Intercontinental title. They've all held the United States title. And, of course, this has probably got to be true. I hope this is true. All three members of a faction, these guys have to be the only three members of any faction to all have become world champion at some point. All three men have held the WWE Championship at one point or another. Dean Ambrose, and they actually made history being the only old faction, the only former faction members to hold the WWE Championship all in the same night. It was Money in the Bank 2015, I believe. Yeah, 2015? No, wait. 2016, I'm sorry. Money in the Bank 2016. It was the very same night. They all held the title. Roman Reigns walked in as WWE Champion against Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins defeated Roman Reigns for the WWE Championship. And then Dean Ambrose cashed in his Money in the Bank contract and defeated Seth Rollins to become the WWE Champion. So in one night, all three Shield members were WWE Champion. Crazy. Never before have we seen that. Never again have we seen that. At number 7, the Nexus debut. That was crazy. I remember watching that live, not in attendance, but I was watching it live on television as it was happening. Me and my dad, I was actually out here visiting. I was in college at the time when this went down. I was out here visiting with my family, and me and my dad were just sitting around being lazy, watching wrestling. The main event was CM Punk and John Cena. This is when CM Punk was still doing his straight edge society thing. I think he was still wearing that stupid straight edge mask to cover up his shaven head that he lost his hair versus hair match to Rey Mysterio. And he had Luke Gallows in his corner still, and Joey Murphy, I believe, or maybe just Luke was still there. Anyway, the main event was John Cena and CM Punk in the main event of Raw, and then here comes the cast of the first season of NXT. So for those who don't know, any of you youngins out there that don't remember, NXT actually started not as a third brand, but as the replacement for the original third brand that WWE had, which was their poor rendition of ECW, which a lot of us call WWECW, because that's pretty much what it was. There was nothing unique about it, nothing reminiscent of the old ECW at all. And then it was canceled. And they started this new show called NXT. And it was supposed to be these rookies from FCW, which was their developmental territory at the time, Florida Championship Wrestling. And they would bring in these guys, put them with a mentor or a coach, which was a superstar on the main roster. And they would do these stupid tasks week in and week out. They would make them cut promos about stupid things. They would make them do these obstacle course and stuff like that. And then occasionally these guys would wrestle. On that very first season, you had guys like Skip Sheffield, who would end up becoming Ryback. You had Darren Young, who would end up becoming a part of the tag team with Titus O'Neil, known as the Primetime Players. You had Wade Barrett, who's currently a commentator for SmackDown right now. He was one of the main guys. He was actually the guy that won that first season. Of course, the biggest name that came out of that season was, of course, Daniel Bryan, a.k.a. Bryan Danielson. And it was during the main event of this Monday Night Raw episode where all these guys, Wade Barrett had just won. I think it was the previous week that the last episode of NXT for that first season had ended. Wade Barrett won. and the winner would get a contract with whatever brand that he so choose, or whatever the deal was. I forget. But they all showed up just out of nowhere. They kind of just like started sauntering. They just kind of like appeared on TV. And then you see Wade Barrett kind of strolling down the entrance ramp. And all of them had this little band on their arm, kind of like how you would see like if athletes or like police officers or someone that had died in line, dude, they wear like those black bands around their like arm or whatever. But it had a yellow N on it. And I thought it was like, okay, so they just like trying to represent NXT, but that's not the N stood for the Nexus, which is what they would later be known to be called. But this group of 7 guys or 8 guys, it was 8 at first, before it dwindled to 7, had one of the badass debuts I think I've ever seen in that particular era of the WWE at that time. They started demolishing everybody in the ring. They took out Punk. They cornered Cena and just beat the crap out of Cena, hitting all their finishers on Cena. They tore up the ring. They tore up ringside. They attacked Justin Roberts, who was the ring announcer at the time. Justin Roberts, of course, famously was choked on camera by his tie, by Daniel Bryan just choking him with his tie, which actually led to Daniel Bryan legitimately being fired by the WWE because apparently that upset a bunch of their corporate sponsors. And it was a short-term firing because Daniel Bryan would come back a couple months later as one of the members of Team WWE during that infamous Team Nexus versus Team WWE SummerSlam match that same year. But yeah, that was such a big moment. It was one of those crazy those guys got over in one night. That like all these guys, all these so-called rookies that the main television audience wasn't really paying attention to, if anybody was really watching NXT at the time. But they had this crazy debut that just showed that hopefully something big was to come. Ultimately, WWE kind of dropped the ball on that storyline, but they had one of the best debuts ever. I will agree with that. At number 6, the debut of Y2J Chris Jericho. Most definitely, that's definitely in that bracket, definitely. We were getting these countdowns every week called Countdown to the Millennium. It was in early 1999, or maybe like midnight, something like that. It was like early spring. We were getting these vignettes. It was just a clock. It said Countdown to the Millennium, and it would just be running down this clock, and it was getting lower and lower each week. And I really thought, stupid me as a child, I really thought that it was the countdown to the millennium because we were about to hit the year 2000. It was 1999. We're about to hit the year 2000. I legitimately thought that's what WWE was doing, but didn't even realize that this night in August in Chicago, the countdown clock hit its final buzzer, and then you hear this crazy guitar riff and this video showing like these lights and these cars and these exotic dancers on screen. And then all of a sudden, boom, Jericho's name just comes across the screen just like that. And then you just see Chris Jericho, who was on WCW television not that long ago, with his arms up like this, facing away from the camera while The Rock was in the ring. He interrupted The Rock's promo, and he's just standing there, and then, of course, he hits that famous line, "Welcome to Raw is Jericho!" That is a moment that everyone will always remember. Big moment during that time in the WWE. WWE definitely became the go-to company. It seemed like this is how it was, and I feel like history is repeating itself now because you're seeing a lot of correlation between WWE and WWE WWE and AEW back how it was with WCW and WWE because, I just voice cracked. Oh, that was terrible. Anyway, you used to see a lot of the jaded talent, the talent that wasn't getting the push that they felt that they deserved, that they weren't getting the opportunities that they felt they deserved because it was going to the old timers, the already established stars in WCW. So WWE started slowly and gradually courting these young, hungry talents that were the backbone of what WCW was, and that changed the tide for them. Like, for example, the first big get they got that same year was the Big Show, who was known in WCW as the Giant. And then here we go, a few months later, here comes Chris Jericho. And a few months after that, you got the exodus of the Radicals, which was Dean Malenko, Perry Saturn, Chris Benoit, and Eddie Guerrero. And it was just like, when that happened, when those four guys left, seemed like that was like the nail in the coffin for WCW, because they never really fully recovered from that. And now I'm not saying that AEW is anywhere close to being dead or whatever, but their business has definitely turned around for the worse and not for the better. They keep signing already established WWE former talents like a Bobby Lashley, like a Shelton Benjamin, like like Chris Jericho, of course. Chris Jericho has definitely transformed to everything he used to hate. He's now the established guy that's taking time away from young, up and hungry talent. He is now become the guy that he ran away from all those years ago. Whenever he debuted on Monday Night Raw, he is now that person that he ran away from, unfortunately. But so like a lot of the established WWE guys are getting hired by Tony Khan and AEW, and a lot of the talent that's being mishandled or misused or there's these backstage politics or whatever that's coming from AEW, they're heading back to WWE. You got American Nightmare Cody Rhodes. You got CM Punk's exodus back to WWE, which is fucking crazy. Because AEW was such a shit show that CM Punk actually buried the hatchet with Triple H and got rehired and has been on the fucking run of his career. Anyway, this past Monday, we're going to talk about it here in a moment. But of course, this past Monday night on Raw, you saw the debut of Sal Miedo Penta. Big, huge event. He looked like a fucking star in just 5 minutes of screen time, more so than the entire time he spent in AEW. So you take that for what you will. But yeah, Chris Jericho's debut on Monday Night Raw was definitely a turning point in that Monday Night War. Number 5, Mankind Mick Foley defeats The Rock to become the WWE champion. I love this. I'll always remember this. It is such a huge, awesome memory of my childhood. Of course, if you watch WCW, this happened on the same night as the Finger Poke of Doom. For all those who don't know what that is, that's when it was the main event. Kevin Nash is the WCW World Champion. He had just came off of a victory over the undefeated Goldberg at Starrcade in December. It was one of the first, I think it was, if not the first episode of Monday Night Raw and Monday Nitro for the year 1999. Kevin Nash ends up facing Hollywood Hogan in the main event of that show in the Georgia Dome, no less, in Atlanta, after they concocted this crazy storyline. And it was a sold-out Georgia Dome, mind you. It was some stupid storyline where Miss Elizabeth accused Goldberg of stalking her, and it was supposed to originally be Goldberg and Kevin Nash, and then Goldberg gets arrested, and now Hogan takes Goldberg's place, and we get NWO Hollywood versus NWO Wolfpack. And the match, before this match even starts, you have Tony Schiavone on commentary, who's currently a commentary member of the AEW broadcast team. He gets on the mic, and of course, this is directed by Eric Bischoff to say this. He reveals the results of Monday Night Raw, saying that don't change the channel because Mick Foley, who once wrestled here as Cactus Jack, is going to win their world title. Huh! That's going to put a lot of butts in seats. He said that verbatim. And when that was actually said on WWE television, they had a main event that they wanted to see. Like they were winning at that time. Like the viewership was on WCW side at that time. But when Tony Schiavone, literally almost to the minute that he said that, some like 2 or 3 million homes or some crazy number all changed the channel from TNT to USA to watch Mick Foley win the WWE Championship for the very first time in his career. WCW ended up losing that night. because of the stupid storyline with Goldberg, because of the finger poke of doom. Because I didn't even get to explain that. So during the course of the Hall and the Nash and Hogan match, Hogan pokes Kevin Nash in the chest, a finger poke, boom. He falls down. He pins him 1, 2, 3. Hogan's world champion again. The NWO is no longer two feuding factions. They are now amalgamated into one faction once again. They make Goldberg look like a fucking idiot. And that's how Nitro went off the air with people throwing trash into the ring, just clearly fed up with that bullshit that WCW was always going back to. And that's why I feel bad for those people that were live in the crowd that night, because they couldn't change the channel like the ones watching at home could. They changed the channel and watched Mick Foley become the WWE champion for the very first time. What a fucking memory. What an awesome night for Mick Foley, for the WWE, all of that. So that was one of the turning tides in the Monday Night War for sure. So that definitely deserves to be at the number 5 spot. Number 4, Mike Tyson and Stone Cold Steve Austin go head-to-head, face-to-face. Most definitely. That was a huge moment for the WWE to see the baddest man on the planet. He just came off of that controversial fight with Evander Holyfield where he bit Evander Holyfield's ears off of his head. And he's getting in the ring with the toughest son of a bitch in the WWE at that time, Stone Cold Steve Austin. He had just won the Royal Rumble the night before, punching his ticket to the main event of WrestleMania 14 in Boston. And Stone Cold and Tyson just get in each other's face, and Stone Cold famously flips off Tyson. Tyson pushes him, and then all hell broke loose. It was crazy. And it would lead to Tyson being involved in WrestleMania, joining forces with Shawn Michaels and Triple H, becoming an honorary member of D-Generation X to try and put up, stack the odds against Stone Cold Steve Austin. Ultimately, it didn't work. Tyson ended up turning his back on DX, costing Shawn Michaels the WWE Championship, helping Stone Cold Steve Austin to become WWE Champion, counting the pinfall, actually. Tyson, a lot of people forget that Mike Tyson is the one that counted the pinfall for Stone Cold Steve Austin's very first victory to become WWE Champion for the very first time of his career. So, yeah, that definitely had to be on the list for sure. At number 3, I agree with this one for sure. At number 3, CM Punk's Pipe Bomb. It was 2011. CM Punk was ready to leave the company. He was not re-signing. He kept putting it off over and over again. He was kind of fed up with his place in the company. He was fed up with the fact that he didn't get the opportunity to be in the main event of WrestleMania that year. He was kind of just placed in a feud with Randy Orton. And he was just not happy. And he let his grievances out, which apparently was given permission by Vince McMahon. And he cuts this crazy promo, the Pipe Bomb, that just got everyone talking online and on the news, like everywhere. Like it literally was a pipe bomb. It just blew up. And CM Punk had hit a huge other stratosphere, just putting him in that top tier, like main event, just big star status just from this one interview. He said some crazy shit on there, like Vince McMahon, and like when Vince McMahon's dead, his doofus son-in-law and his stupid daughter are going to be taking control. It was just, some of the shit that he said was insane. I don't know how he got away with most of the shit that he said, but he did. And that was definitely a turning point in the career of CM Punk, so much so that he re-signed the night of Money in the Bank in Chicago, and it was just that same night before right before the main event, literally like an hour before his main event match with John Cena, he re-signs a new contract with the WWE, and they put the title on him that night. He goes over, pins John Cena clean in the ring with a GTS, 1, 2, 3, and CM Punk, holding the WWE Championship, blows a kiss to Vince McMahon and leaves through the crowd. Crazy moment. And it all started with that one moment on Monday Night Raw, the Pipe Bomb. And number 2, definitely a night that will never be forgotten, a night that we will probably never see again. Maybe, who knows? But yes, it was the simulcast. The simulcast, TNT and USA Network broadcasting at the exact same time, at the exact same moment, for this in-ring promo between Vince McMahon and his son Shane McMahon leading up to their feud at WrestleMania. It was literally a week before WrestleMania, or 2 weeks before WrestleMania, something like that. Shane McMahon shows up in Panama City, Florida for the final night of WCW Monday Nitro on the TNT network. It was the final night of WCW. They had just been sold to the WWE that same day, or the sale had been finalized, or whatever it was. Vince McMahon was going to announce that, or he announced earlier in the night, because he started WCW. That was crazy. WCW always started an hour before WWE. So if you were watching WCW that night, you were shocked to see Vince McMahon on your television screen, with a Monday Night Raw background saying that I own WCW, which was true. And then later in the night, we had the simulcast when Raw went live at that 9 o'clock hour in the beginning of the second hour of WCW Nitro. Vince is talking about what he's going to do, what's the future of WCW, yada, yada. And then here comes Shane McMahon in Panama City on WCW television in a WCW ring. Shane McMahon in a WCW ring. Never before have you seen a McMahon in a WCW ring. And the only time you'll ever see a McMahon in a WCW ring at that time, ever again. That's the only time you'll ever see it, because that's when it happened. Shane revealed that, yes, the contract does say McMahon, but it reads Shane McMahon. And Shane McMahon revealed that he was the owner of WCW. This is just, like I said, a week or 2 weeks before their match at WrestleMania, just to add another fuel to the fire that was already brewing between the father and the son. And yeah, what an epic night. What an epic night. The final night of WCW ends with McMahon versus McMahon. Simulcast, USA, TNT, never before done, never before, never have again. And at number one of my favorite childhood memories, I'm sure it's a lot of your favorite childhood memories, the Beer Bash from Stone Cold Steve Austin. It was the lead up to WrestleMania 15 in Philadelphia. Stone Cold Steve Austin was going to face The Rock for the WWE Championship. The Rock, Shane, and Vince McMahon of the corporation in the middle of the ring. They called out Stone Cold Steve Austin, and here comes Austin driving a Miller Lite beer truck to the ring. He pulls out a hose and sprays The Rock, Vince, and Shane with beer, drying them in beer. Vince is on the ring like he's pretending to swim. He's covered in beer. Shane's covered in beer. The Rock's trying to shield himself with the WWE title. Oh, man, what an epic, epic night. Stone Cold always did some crazy shit. He was always driving some crazy thing, from the cement truck to the Zamboni to right here. This is the coup de grace, the Beer Bash with the beer truck. That definitely had to be number one. I definitely agree, because that is just such a crazy memory from my childhood. It just puts a smile on my face, y'all. What an awesome, awesome list. I agree with a lot of these. I'd say I agree with all of them, really. I'll definitely have to watch that video at some point. I know I mentioned Pentagon whenever I was talking about the debut of Chris Jericho. So listen to this. I know, man, I wish T5 was here to see or hear this, because I would love to see what his reaction would be. Penta's debut on Monday Night Raw last night gained over 2,600,000 views in just 15 hours, guys. Yes, in just 15 hours on WWE's official X account. That's more views than the debuts of Kazuchika Okada, Will Ospreay, and Mercedes Moné combined, which have around 2 million views as of now on X. So Penta, in his very first night on Monday Night Raw on Netflix, has outdrawn the big three of AEW. He's already a fucking star, man. He's already more over there than he was in AEW. And not only that, this just came out about 5 hours ago. Penta's new t-shirts. He has a black t-shirt with his logo, a face logo, and a white t-shirt with this really cool logo and his name logo on the back of it, are the top-selling merchandise currently on WWE Shop right now. His number one is the black t-shirt, and number two is the white t-shirt. So fucking awesome. Congrats to Penta. Man, Penta is going to be a fucking star. And I expect him to be in a huge, huge feud, in a huge match going into what could be one of the biggest premium live events of the year after WrestleMania. The news was broken by recording artist and occasional wrestler Bad Bunny, who confirmed via Rolling Stone that WWE Backlash will take place in Mexico. That's right. Backlash is always the pay-per-view that comes after WrestleMania. And, excuse me, last year, of course, Backlash was probably one of the best pay-per-views of the year post WrestleMania when it hit France. And Mexico is going to have to try and outdo France because that France was one of those crazy crowds. And I think Mexico can do that. Mexico is going to be the host of Backlash. I'm excited. I don't know where in Mexico exactly. I don't know if it's going to be in Mexico City but most likely I feel like it's going to end up being in Mexico City. But that is really, really awesome to hear. And in that same interview with Rolling Stone, Bad Bunny said that he's considering giving up music to be a wrestler full time in WWE. Isn't that crazy to hear that? He says, I want to do it again with WWE. I feel like I didn't risk it enough in the ring last time, and I want to do it. When exactly? I don't know. I stay in contact with the people at WWE. We're always paying attention to what's going on. But when, I don't know exactly. I hope there's a time where I can really get ready like I did the last few times. I'd love to take more time to get ready physically. Sometimes I say to myself, I'm going to quit everything else and just do wrestling in WWE full time. And that's what Bad Bunny said in Rolling Stone. And in response to this interview from Rolling Stone, Logan Paul has called out Bad Bunny for a match. And this would be a little wild to see because Bad Bunny and Logan Paul have definitely been some of the best celebrity turned wrestlers that we've seen in like probably ever. You got to get, I know a lot of people out there do not like Logan Paul. I know he's, a giant douchebag to a lot of people. He definitely, I definitely feel he's a giant douche in real life. Bad Bunny, I mean, whatever. I mean, I don't really care either way. I like a couple of his songs, but that's about it. I don't really have any, he doesn't really give me douche chills like Logan Paul does, but you got to give credit where credit is due. Both of those guys have had some of the best matches that celebrities have probably ever put on. Logan Paul has definitely gotten a lot better in ring because he's done it a lot more than Bad Bunny has. But if you don't believe me, check out his match with Damian Priest, Bad Bunny versus Damian Priest from Backlash Puerto Rico a couple years ago. Check out Logan Paul's some of Logan Paul's best matches. Check out his crown jewel match against Roman Reigns. Look that up, and you'll see what I'm saying. Like, I have to give credit where credit is due. Those guys, they really put their time and effort into learning the craft, and to see them possibly have a match against each other would be, it would be interesting to see. Let's just say that it would be interesting to see. A lot of controversy yesterday. Corey Graves apparently is unhappy with his position in the company right now. Corey Graves is the former commentator for SmackDown, where he was, the color man with Wade Barrett. But apparently he was demoted from SmackDown to NXT. He's a part of a 3-man team now on NXT with Vic Joseph and Booker T, but maybe not anymore. After these series of tweets, he tweeted yesterday, imagine chasing your dream, then being told, not deciding, that you're no longer physically able to pursue your dream. Then you dedicate your life to something dream adjacent and being pretty fucking awesome at it. And then when it's time to enjoy the fruits of your labor, being told you're not famous enough for your own job, just in case you've wondered where I've been. So apparently he is not happy at all with being demoted back down to NXT to be a part of a 3-man team. Joe Testatori and Wade Barrett are now the new announced team for SmackDown. And Pat McAfee and Michael Cole are the commentary team for Monday Night Raw currently. So Corey seems to be the odd man out, but apparently his comments have not done him any favors. And Corey Graves was missing in action last night on NXT. If you watched NXT last night, he was not at the commentary table with Vic and Booker. So he definitely ruffled some feathers. So we'll keep a close eye on this story. I don't know what the future holds for Corey Graves. I don't know if he's going to be quitting or he's going to be let go or what's going to happen. But any progress in this developing story, you'll definitely hear from me right here on the official IE Wrestling show. And I'll announce it on one of our social media pages as well. We're going to take a short little break, guys. We're going to get a little bit more into the big moments of Monday Night Raw. And then we'll talk about TNA Genesis. Big pay-per-view coming this Sunday live from Garland, Texas at the Curtis Culwell Center. in Garland, Texas. It's a near sellout. There's still tickets available if you want to get yourself a seat for that big pay-per-view event, the first pay-per-view event of the new year for TNA. A lot of big matches going down on TNA Genesis. We're going to get into that here in a little bit, but let's hear from some of our affiliates of IE Sports Radio, and then we'll come back to you right here. Stay tuned for the IE Wrestling Show. Do not go anywhere. We'll be right back in just a moment, guys. Stay tuned.
What's good, fight fans? It's your boy, Marcus Los Great, here to give you what you want, here to give you what you need. Yeah, man. Yeah. I'm coming to you live, straight from your mama's basement with a crispy white tea. We're coming to you live every Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Powered by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's up, Pittsburgh? This is Ralph Calise, the host of the Injury Report on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Are you that passionate diehard Steelers, Penguins, Pirates, or just a Pittsburgh sports fan? Then please join me on the Injury Report every Tuesday on IE Sports Radio, the direct feed for all that is sports, and I will update you on all that's black and gold. Have you telling your Pittsburgh fans and friends what's up with Pittsburgh sports. Tune in Tuesday with me, Ralph Calise, the Injury Report on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Let's go!
It's IE Sports Radio. It is your direct feed for all that is sports. It is Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris every Tuesday night right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris is the most comprehensive view on Philadelphia sports exclusively right here on IE Sports Radio. You know what it is, your direct feed for all that is sports. Tuesday night, IE Sports Radio, Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris.
Shout out to our IE Sports Radio affiliates, Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris, the Yinzer Report with my boy Ralph Calise. Let me give you a yeet and a hoop, hoop, hoop. And, of course, Gloves Off with Marcus Losgreat. Shout out to those guys and their awesome shows. Check them out, guys. So, yeah, I already talked about it. Penta finally debuted. Even Michael Cole said it. It was the worst kept secret in the business, which most definitely it was. Yes. With Penta coming to the WWE, it was we already knew it was happening, and what a debut! awesome ring entrance music, awesome presentation, fantastic match with Chad Gable, a really impassioned post-match promo by Penta that really just generally showed his emotion. Being a Mexican descent myself, unfortunately, I don't speak Spanish, which is, I know, sorry to any of our Hispanic Mexican fans out there. I know I very much look like I should speak it, but I don't. But even though I couldn't understand half of what he was saying, I could feel his raw emotion, and you could see it in his eyes. Just the raw emotion and how happy he truly is to be there in WWE, and his family was front row. His young daughter was at ringside, and you could just see she was like overwhelmed with emotion. She was shedding tears for her father, seeing him, just seeing him so happy. Like, it was so great to see that. I was very happy to see Penta have such an awesome debut, and like I stated, like he's already his social media views have already like trounced 3 of AEW's biggest signings or whatever, and then his merch sales are already like through the roof, which is fucking awesome. We come out and we show out for our Latino superstars, that's for sure. Big news also, we crowned the first ever inaugural WWE Women's Intercontinental Champion. Lyra Valkyria defeated Dakota Kai in a very, very good match on Monday Night Raw in the finals of the WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship. And Lyra Valkyria is now the holder of the inaugural Women's Intercontinental Championship title. They shook hands, embraced, and Lyra Valkyria is now the workhorse of the women's division now, which is fantastic. Congratulations to Lyra Valkyria. I think that's really great. I would have liked to have seen Dakota get her due, but it's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time before we see gals like Michin and Dakota and Zelina get their just desserts and get one of these title victories here real soon. A singles title run. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing one of the 3 ladies eventually hold one of those singles championships. But I'm really happy for Lyra Valkyria. She's very, very good in the ring, and I definitely see a bright future for her. And this is the very beginning of that. So I'm really glad to see that, that she is the inaugural Women's Intercontinental Champion. And then on the SmackDown side of things, of course, we have Chelsea Green as the inaugural WWE Women's United States Champion. So a lot of things shaking up in WWE. It's really good to see that the women are now getting more acknowledgement and having their own mid-card championship. That'll give the women even more opportunities to be on cards and fight for championships in the near future. So that's really good. I'm really excited to see that. We also saw Sheamus have a banger of a match with Ludwig Kaiser. Very, very good match that set up a match that's set for Saturday night's main event. Saturday night's main event is going to be live in San Antonio, Texas, next Saturday. So I'm going to be in Dallas for Monday Night Raw with my father next Monday. And then just a few days later, January 25th, which is a special day in my heart. I love you, mijo. That's my son's birthday. My son, me and my wife will be celebrating my son's 11th birthday. That's so crazy. I have an 11-year-old son. But yeah, my son's 11-year-old, his 11th birthday will be taking place the same day as the second Saturday night's main event from the WWE's revamped of the same show. Takes place live in San Antonio, and we got 2 matches already set for that. With the victory over Ludwig Kaiser, Sheamus will go one-on-one with Braun Breaker for the Intercontinental Championship at Saturday night's main event in San Antonio. Sheamus is looking for that Intercontinental Championship. It's the only championship in his career he has never managed to hold. He's a former WWE champion, World Heavyweight champion, Tag Team champion, United States champion, but never has he ever held the Intercontinental title. And the only thing standing in his way is the dog-faced gremlin, Braun Breaker. Hoo, hoo, hoo. That's going to be a huge, huge match. I can't wait to see that. That definitely could steal the show at Saturday night's main event. Braun Breaker and Sheamus going one-on-one for the Intercontinental title. Cool little tidbit here. This is a little adjacent from Saturday night's main event, but the cousin of Braun Breaker, the son of his uncle, Big Papa Pump, Scott Steiner, WWE Hall of Famer, along with Braun Breaker's father, the original dog-faced gremlin, Rick Steiner of the Steiner Brothers. Big Papa Pump was recently on Busted Open Radio, the podcast hosted by Bully Ray, Dave Lagana, and Tommy Dreamer. Mark Henry also makes appearances regularly on that show as well. But Big Papa Pump was on the show recently talking about, about his nephew's success, about how he came to terms with, burying the hatchet with WWE and Triple H and getting inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. And he said he did it for his nephew. Like, he didn't want no issues for his nephew, and he really wanted to see his nephew thrive and have a successful career in the WWE. And I guess Big Papa Pump had some growing up to do, even in his later years, saying, that you can't hold on to grudges. And he said that Triple H a couple weeks back called him just to check in with him, see how he was doing, and also extend an NIL deal to his son, who is a wide receiver currently for the Jacksonville State Gamecocks, Brock Rechsteiner, that is their actual birth name. Brock Rechsteiner, the son of Scott Steiner, has been offered an NIL deal to join the WWE after his college career is over. And Scott said that that's something that he will do. He wants to become a wrestler, just like his cousin and his father and his uncle before him. So we could very well one day probably see a new generation of Steiners tag teaming together, possibly. You got the two cousins from the Steiner brothers, so Big Papa Pump's son is in line for an NIL deal once his college career is over. Scott Steiner said he's got one more year to go before he's graduating from college with his degree, and he said that probably once that's done, he will sign on the dotted line. So that's crazy, man. So Brock Rechsteiner, the son of Scott Steiner, could very well be a future WWE superstar. Much like the son of WWE Hall of Famer Mark Henry, Jacob Henry has already signed on the dotted line as well. His intent to join the WWE once his college career in Oklahoma ends. So yeah, man, WWE getting these second generation stars in line for the future. But also set for Saturday night's main event this coming on Saturday the 25th. After a promo segment between the two, we will see a World Heavyweight Championship match against the Ring General Gunther, defending the World Heavyweight Championship against probably the most over guy on the roster today. That's arguably right here, y'all. Yeet! Main event, Jey Uso. That is going to be an awesome match. I can't wait to see. That crowd was lit whenever Jey Uso's music hit. They were all yeeting. The drone entrance for Jey, Jey is over, man. Anybody that says any different is smoking crack, okay? Anybody that says any different about Jey Uso not being over is smoking crack. Jey Uso is super over. He's one of the biggest merch sellers of the WWE today, and he just has that. He has that it factor, man. And him and Gunther are going to have an awesome match. Will they pull the trigger and put the title on him? That's another story. But they're going to have an awesome match for sure. It's definitely going to be a main event match not to miss. So 2 matches already set for Saturday night's main event, January 25th in San Antonio, Texas. You got the Intercontinental title between Sheamus and Braun Breaker, and you got the World Heavyweight title between Gunther and Jey Uso. Oh, man. And like I stated, I can't wait for Monday Night Raw this coming next Monday in Dallas. We already have WWE Hall of Famer JBL is set to be there in attendance. The New Day will be in action for the first time since their heel turn, and the main event that's already been announced, Seth freaking Rollins goes one-on-one with Drew McIntyre. Oh, that was terrible again. Sorry. Drew McIntyre on Raw. I'm really looking forward to that, man. Looking forward to that indeed. We're going to take another quick little break, guys, and when we come back, we will be talking about our predictions, or my predictions since I'm solo right now, for TNA Genesis, which comes to you live this coming Sunday, January 19th, live on pay-per-view, or if you subscribe to the TNA app, the TNA Wrestling app as well. Check it out. They actually have a deal going on right now. The basic plan, if you sign up for the basic plan, you get 1 month free with the promo code NONSTOP. You don't get to watch Genesis, unfortunately. That's a separate deal, or you can go to the next level up and pay an annual fee, which is only once a year, and you get unlimited access to their full TNA library and every pay-per-view event without the extra cost. You know what I'm saying? Or if you just want to watch the pay-per-view itself, it is a $40 payment, which is a lot cheaper than the AEW pay-per-views are. So $40 gets you to watch it live in the comfort of your own home for TNA Genesis. But more on that here in a moment. We'll be right back. We're going to hear some more IE Sports Radio affiliates. And when we come back, we're going to go over the card for TNA Genesis this coming Sunday. Stay tuned, guys. We'll be right back in just a moment.
What's happening, sports fans? Are you a fan of Southern California sports? Are you looking for a show hotter than a hot summer day in California? Then look no further than the SoCal Supreme Sports Show, where I talk about all things Southern California sports. That's right, all sports teams from Southern California. From the hard-hitting tackles of the NFL, to the killer crossovers and big three-pointers of the NBA and WNBA, to the grand slams of the MLB, to the bone-chilling goals of the NHL, and to the booming kicks of the MLS. The SoCal Supreme Sports Show has it all for you. Oh, and let us not forget about the college sports as well. So join me, Taryn Rodriguez, every week here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Everybody, this is Taryn Rodriguez. Are you a fan of volleyball? Are you a fan of Thunderous Spikes? Then I have the show for you, Set Point, where I cover NCAA men's and women's volleyball, high school boys and girls volleyball, beach volleyball, and even professional volleyball. Catch the action every week here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hello, sports fans. It's me, your boy Larry B, and I want to walk you through the world of sports. No, not just the mainstream major TV deal type sports, although those are important too. But let me be your guide through your journey of all sports, from college to the pros, the minors, and everything in between. Each week, we are talking sports galore with true diehards just like you from a hardcore fan's perspective that's sure to quench your thirst around leagues you may know all too well and some you may even discover here. That's right, sports fans. If you love sports of all kinds, enjoy hearing amazing sports stories, and respect all sports because you know how difficult any of them can be to play or compete in, then this is your show. Join me, your boy Larry B, on the defining moment each week here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports, and let the sports come to you.
Thanks for sticking around, guys. We are back live here on the IE Wrestling Show. We just heard from a couple of drops for two of the shows hosted by Taryn Rodriguez here on IE Sports Radio. Of course, the SoCal Supreme Sports Show and Set Point. And, of course, we heard from the defining moment, one of the main shows, one of our biggest shows here on IE Sports Radio platform from the head honcho himself, Larry B. So check out all three of those shows, guys. Do me a favor and show some love to them. Please do yourself a favor if you're watching us live on X right now or on Instagram. I don't know if we're showing on Instagram. My bad. We're live on X and on YouTube. That's what it is. I do apologize. If you're watching live on X and the official IE Sports Radio YouTube channel, hit that like, share, subscribe button. Please do us a favor. It'll help us a lot. It definitely will. And here we go, guys. We're going to get into now TNA Genesis. Yes, TNA Genesis comes to you live from the Curtis Colwell Center in Garland, Texas. It is a near sellout. I actually was looking at tickets the other day, and it is damn near sold out. So it's just a few days left before the show. Maybe tickets will drop here. Ticket prices will drop a little bit before it's showtime, and make it a little bit more affordable for you and your family to join in on the festivities here for TNA's big show in Dallas. I want to see a sellout because this is an arena that AEW runs regularly, and they have not been able to sell out this arena. And I want to just put another fucking I told you so about AEW for TNA to sell out this arena over them. This would make me so happy. Anyway, the match is set for this event, starting with the pre-show match. Frankie the Future Kazarian goes one-on-one with Leon Slater on the pre-show. That should be a fun match. I don't see Frankie losing this match, so I got to give the nod to Frankie on this one. Next match on the card. I know he's rolling solo. Shout out to his tag team partner, Chris Bay. We're still praying for you, brother. We're still praying for a speedy recovery. We love you. We're sending our thoughts and prayers to you. Hopefully Chris Bay makes a speedy recovery to get back in the ring at some point. Hopefully his career is not over. He had that really devastating neck injury a few months back, and we're still thinking about you, us wrestling fans, and of course the boys and gals in the business are still thinking about you too, Chris. Shout out to Chris Bay and his family. Much love. Your tag team partner in ABC, Ace Austin, has an opportunity to become the X Division champion this coming Sunday when he challenges Moose for the X Division championship live in Garland. So yes, Moose will be defending that X Division title against Ace Austin. I would love to see that feel-good moment with Ace Austin defeating Moose. That would be really great to see. But I mean, if I'm looking realistically, I just don't see Moose's reign coming to an end this quickly after it just started. But, anything can happen. It really can. A match that was just recently added to the card, tag team match for the TNA Knockouts World Tag Team titles. The tag team champions, Spitfire, Jody Threat, and Danny Luna, will defend the tag team titles against Ash and Heather by Excellence. Yes, they will defend the tag team titles against Ash and Heather by Excellence. That's a mouthful. With the personal concierge at ringside for Ash and Heather by Excellence. I don't see by Excellence walking out with the tag team titles, unfortunately. I think Spitfire continues their successful reign as the TNA Knockouts tag team champions. Josh Alexander goes one-on-one with Mike Santana. This is definitely going to be a hard-hitting match, and I think we're going to see Josh Alexander doing the favors. I don't see Josh winning this match. I see Mike Santana's push is starting to slowly build. It's a slow build, and I think Mike Santana is definitely owed a victory here. I think he's going to get the win, and I really think Josh is on his way out of TNA. We will eventually see him possibly joining either AEW or WWE in the very near future. I think he would actually be very welcomed in the WWE setting. I could definitely see him joining the company and going after his former tag team partner in the North, All Ego Ethan Page. That's already like a built-in story right there for All Ego and Josh Alexander to have if he goes the way of WWE and heads to NXT for a short time. I just don't want him to get lost in the shuffle like so many others when they make the choice to AEW over WWE. So I really, if Josh is to exit the company, I feel like WWE is the better option between the two. Next match on the card, another person who I know for certain is on her way out of the company and most likely will be joining the WWE very shortly, most likely debuting at the Royal Rumble to be officially a member of the WWE roster. Jordan Grace will go one-on-one with the recent signee of Tessa Blanchard. I know the very controversial signing of Tessa Blanchard re-signing of Tessa Blanchard back to TNA has really rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, wrestlers and fans included in that. And Jordynne Grace, I know rumors are to be believed, she's not really overly excited about this match and this program that she's currently in with Tessa Blanchard, but this is probably going to be coming to an end fairly shortly this coming Sunday. So I think Jordynne, very professional. She's going to do the honors, I think, and she will give TNA fans her goodbyes, and then we'll see her in the WWE quite shortly. I definitely see her showing up in the Royal Rumble yet again, only this time she won't be representing TNA. She will be a full-fledged member of the WWE roster. If she's not on the main roster, she'll be a part of the NXT roster, most likely. But I mean, I don't does she really need a few months down in NXT? Maybe, maybe not. I mean, I feel like Jordan's been plying her trade for quite some time, and I think she could definitely manage just being on the main roster right out the gate, but we'll see. But I definitely think this is Jordynne Grace's last hurrah in TNA this coming Sunday, and I think Tessa Blanchard goes over. Next match on the card, I'm really looking forward to this one. The tag team match for the TNA World Tag Team titles. The Hardys, Matt and Jeff Hardy, defend the tag team titles against the Rascals, Trey Miguel and Zachary Wentz. Yes, should be a awesome tag team match for the tag team titles. It's almost like a dream match to see Wentz and Miguel go 2-on-2 against Matt and Jeff, the Hardy Boys, or the Hardys. Now they're no longer boys. This should be a very entertaining match. Maybe the tag team, this nostalgia run for the Hardys as the tag team champions comes to an end this Sunday. I got to go with the Rascals. I know that might be not the popular choice, but I see the Rascals walking out of Garland with the tag team titles this coming Sunday. Next match on the card, Clockwork Orange House of Fun match for the TNA Knockouts World Championship. Masa Slamovich defends the TNA Knockouts World Championship against Rosemary. For those who watched NXT last night, you saw that the TNA Knockouts World Champion Masha Slamovich was live at ringside. She was in the crowd watching NXT. And the Booker and Vic promoted that TNA's pay-per-view was coming this Sunday, which is awesome. The collaboration between TNA and WWE is still very, very strong, which is I'm very, very happy to see. And it was really cool to see Masha for the first time on WWE television, because we've seen some other, TNA wrestlers like the Rascals and Joe Hendry and Jordynne Grace when she was the Knockouts Women's World Champion. So to see Masha in there gives me hope that we might see Masha again, possibly either in NXT or maybe she might make an appearance in the Women's Royal Rumble as well, just like Jordynne Grace did last year when she was Knockouts World Champion. So we shall see. But I don't see Masha losing this match. She will. I definitely choose Masha to go over in this match and retain her her TNA Knockouts World Championship. For those who don't know what a Clockwork Orange House of Fun match. This was actually a match that was created during the early days of TNA, in TNA's infancy, whenever they were first created back in 2002. Raven was actually the genesis, no pun intended, of this match. Raven, this was like a team match. It was like Raven and his new sort of flock. I forgot what they were called. Like the Gathering, I think it was. It was like Raven and the Gathering, I think they were called. It was Julio De Niro and a very young Alexis Lurie, who better known to WWE fans as Mickie James, and a very, very young CM Punk. So it was Raven, Julio De Niro, Mickie James, and CM Punk in this match against Shane Douglas, the franchise Shane Douglas from ECW, and oh God, what were they called? Jeez. Oh my God, I forgot what the hell they were called. It was like Father James Mitchell had like a really gothic gimmick going on. Of course, he was known as the Sinister Minister in ECW. Father James Mitchell in TNA and elsewhere. He had like a tag team. God, I forgot what the hell that tag team was called. It's been so long since I even thought about this match. But yeah, it was. Basically, it was just like a hardcore match. There was no really special rules. Like anything goes. They had like crazy weapons in it. That's real. Honestly, really, it's just like a different way to call a street fight, honestly. There really is nothing like particularly special about a Clockwork Orange House of Fun match. It's just a really ridiculous name. But Masha and Rosemary definitely have the type of gimmicks that will thrive in that environment. So I'm looking forward to this match. Masha is my pick to go over and retain the title. And this match, main event for the TNA World Championship. Nick Nemeth defends the TNA World Championship against Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry. I still believe in Joe Hendry. And if TNA is smart and they don't want to see Joe Hendry not re-sign with the company because his contract is also very, very soon going to be coming up for renegotiation. Renegotiation. Jesus, I can't even talk. Very, very soon. We could very well see Joe Hendry saying sayonara to TNA and saying aloha to the WWE and the NXT brand, because he went viral last year whenever he showed up in NXT. I mean, Joe Hendry was on a whole other planet. He even main evented an NXT pay-per-view as a TNA contracted wrestler, competing against All Ego Ethan Page for the NXT Championship last October or September, I think it was. One of those. I think it was September. My bad. But you get what I'm saying here. Joe Hendry has a future, if he wants it, to go to WWE and go to NXT and take his career to a whole nother level, because he's already shown to be very, very over with the WWE audience. And we could very well see Joe Hendry show up in the men's Royal Rumble match, which I would love to see. That fucking stadium crowd would explode. Everyone would be singing, say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry. Oh, man, that would be insane to see that in Indianapolis on February 1st at the Royal Rumble. But I feel like TNA truly, truly dropped the ball by not putting the TNA World Championship on Joe Hendry back in October at Bound for Glory. So do they correct that mistake here this coming Sunday in Garland with Nick Nemeth once again? Do they correct that mistake and put the title on Joe Hendry? Which it seems like that's what the majority of the fan base wants, is to see Joe Hendry win the big one and become TNA World Champion for the very first time in his career. Or does Joe Hendry do the job once again, putting over Nick Nemeth and continuing this reign as world champion, and then we see Joe Hendry exit the company, just like I assume Josh Alexander is going to be exiting at some point soon. And I think it's all but a given that Jordan Grace is on her way out as well. Is Joe Hendry another name that hits the exit door after this pay-per-view? It's a toss-up. I would love to see Joe Hendry get the big win. But like I said, I feel like it was a missed opportunity to do it at Bound for Glory on the biggest pay-per-view of the year for TNA. So is the bloom off the rose, so to speak, for Joe Hendry to become TNA World Champion? Or is there still a chance for them to recompense and reconcile that missed opportunity? I got to pick Joe. Joe's my pick. Joe Hendry is my pick for this match. But do I realistically see TNA doing the deed, since I thought that they were going to do the deed back at Bound for Glory? It's a toss-up. It really is, because, like I said, they dropped the ball by not putting the title on him at Bound for Glory. It really sucked the life out of that crowd in Detroit whenever Joe Hendry lost that match. I don't want to see that happen again here in Garland, but we shall see. We shall very much see. Ooh, well, that's it, guys. That's all I got for you today, man. Thank y'all for joining me today. Thank y'all for being with me. Thank you for being with me here today for the IE Wrestling Show. I know I was rolling solo today. I do appreciate everyone that stuck around with me and watched the show today. I'm really thankful. T5 really was disappointed he couldn't be here today, but hopefully T5 will be with me next week. so we can go over the TNA Genesis pay-per-view, and I'll get to give y'all a firsthand, rundown of my night in Dallas this coming Monday for Monday Night Raw with me and my father going to Monday Night Raw. This is like the fourth time I've said. I keep talking about it. I'm sure my coworkers at work are sick about me sick of hearing me talk about it. I'm sure my wife is sick of me hearing me talk about it. But I'm fucking excited, okay? It's the first Raw of the Netflix era here in Dallas. I can't wait to go. I'm going with my dad, which is like such a tradition. I don't get to do a whole lot of stuff with my father nowadays just because like me and him are both so busy. I'm busy with work. And I know my dad is getting ready to be wrapping it up as far as like his work career goes. Hopefully my dad will be retiring here in the next few months, which I'm hoping because I feel like my dad definitely deserves it. Shout out to you, Dad. I love you, Dad. I can't wait to be sitting in the crowd with you next Monday night on Raw. Thank y'all for tuning in for the IE Wrestling Show. I really appreciate y'all being here and sticking with me throughout the episode. And we're gonna be coming back to you live. Same SoCal Saint time, same SoCal Saint channel next week. Sorry, I was trying to get it all together. Thank y'all, and please don't forget to follow me on X and on Blue Sky at IE Wrestling Show. Follow my boy T5 on his personal page on X, who is Fizzle, and his other show page at _IE. Check out his show, The Crescent City Connection, every Saturday at 9 noon, 4 p.m. Central, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't forget to check out IE Sports Radio, guys, on all social media platforms. Follow us on X, Instagram, Facebook, and just for the next few days, I guess, TikTok, before it's persona non grata. And I know if you're watching live, go to the YouTube page, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. It helps us. Let's build the numbers, guys. Let's put it up. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button. If you can't watch us live, oh wow, sorry, I'm getting loud. I forgot. I am messing this up. I do apologize. Watching this live, I appreciate it. That's what we're trying to build, our live numbers. Sorry about that. If you can't watch us live, guys, check us out on all these podcast platforms: Apple Podcasts, Breaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Audio, Castbox, Deezer Podcast, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, GeoSavin. We're available on all those platforms. We'll see you guys next week, live right here on the IE Wrestling Show, Wednesday, 12 p.m. Central, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace. Yeet. See you guys next week, y'all. Take care.